Live. What's up? What's up? Top of the morning, Colors Barbershop. Welcome to Blended Mondays. Actually, we're just gonna do a little fade. It's been a while since we went live. Want to see who's out there. You actually seen this customer before? This is actually one of my nephews. See if we can get a little close up. Thanks for the thumbs up. Who's ever out there, you guys feel free to leave a comment. We're off the cell phone today, so, bear with me. All right, we're rocking. I'm just going to use a pair of Andis Masters. I'm going to use all the purple guards. Just do a basic fade. Here's my Andis Masters. See the 95th anniversary. Shout out to my father-in-law. He blessed me with them. Took me back. It's been a while since I've been using Andis Masters. I was more of a wall singer guy, but then I had to remind myself that I'm just a barber. And those are some of the main tools. Anthony Peoples, what's up, Anthony Peoples? I see you out there. How's everything going on in the Warren area? Out there on what, 422? Him and who was that? Mike Mitch and some of those guys, Dalton Palmer. Anybody else who's clicking on? Those are some of my Ohio guys, fellow barbers. We're all students together, or I might have had them in class as a student, All right, so we're gonna pick this up. I'm gonna show you a basic, really quick way to get this done. I'm gonna break my haircut down in 4/4. Somebody asked that a couple weeks ago, and just getting back to y'all on that. Remember when we used to talk 4/4 years ago? Those of you guys who've been followers. Invisible line down the middle of the head gives me a left side and a right side, just basically breaking your work down. Ear to ear is what I teach a lot of time, 4/4. And just a way to keep you organized. We've all been there when you get a challenging haircut or a tough grade of hair, different grade of hair, and you get lost in it. That's a good roadmap just to kind of keep you grounded and something to bounce back to. All right, so I'm gonna take a number 4 guard. This is kind of taking me back old school. I still use some of these principles. I got the black or the purple Andis guards, and I'm gonna go quarter number 1. I gotta tell you what haircut we're doing. We're just doing fade around, keep the top, kind of like that nappy top look. All right. So I'm gonna start right around that hat line area. That's a fancy name that they would use when I was working with the Andis Clipper Company. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a former educator for those guys. They actually just helped me find myself, I'll say it that way. I was at a barber competition in Atlanta once upon a time, years ago, around 2004. Hard to believe that time flew. And I was fortunate to win first place and given an opportunity to endorse Andis products, or to be endorsed by Andis, which we all know is one of the lead names in the industry. That was pretty sweet. I was under a guy by the name of Ivan Zoot. If any of you guys ever seen any of his work or teaching or YouTubes? He goes by the Clipper Guy now. But anyway, he came up to me and was like, "And the way you use our Andis Masters, we go around the world, from city to city, state to state." It was almost like a Willy Wonka moment. Looking for individuals like you, whether you to win first place or not. I remember that spill like it was yesterday. You were first place to us, and he kind of talked us up, and it was motivating. It was cool, and I left with an Andis deal because of my knowledge on the Andis Masters. Really, probably just your skill set, but they were looking at their tools, so that's motivation for any of you guys who ever had dreams to work with any of the Clipper companies, stuff like that. That's a little incentive. If you master your craft, and really take it serious, you know, be dedicated to it, find out what it can do for you. It can pay off in more ways than one. Then there was a while where after that, I'd have more clippers than I needed. They'd send me stuff to try and even to give away at shows and classes and stuff like that. That's my relationship with a pair of Andis Masters. That's what comes to mind every time I, you know, kind of analyze the Andis situation. I've been out to Andis Clipper Company before, Racine, Wisconsin. It's about an hour outside of Milwaukee, maybe an hour and a half. But anyway, so they designed a clipper that, you know, it's almost second to none. You know that. A lot of barber schools use them, but they are in competition with, you got to think, Wahl Senior and this Master. They sound real similar, right? So, but this gives a little bit more precise cut. You can almost hear the way the clippers are crunching. And we may talk about this for the rest of the week. We're just having fun, getting creative. I like the way some of those guys on YouTube are doing product review of the week. So I guess we can look at this as somewhat of that type of deal. Just look at these Andis Masters and how smooth and easy it can get you to get your fades together. All right, so that's a 4. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use in this video, I'm gonna use the same concept every single guard that I switch to, starting off with the biggest guard. This is kind of how I used to cut in the basement to make sure, like, it's almost impossible to make a mistake and it's super easy to fade. All right, so every time I come down, that's my 4, I'm gonna then come around, or come back and come up, travel up with the clipper. We're gonna stop in that same area right around here. So 1 trip down and 1 trip up. I'm gonna do this whole half a side and then we can go over it one more time for his right side. That hopefully gives us a little bit better camera view. Okay, I'm gonna skip to a 2 because I don't own a 3 in these guards, but that's okay because this is all just getting rid of bulk work anyway. So here's my 2, and if you needed to act like a 3, you can always pull it back on your Andis Masters. There's a class I used to teach when I was working with Andis, and I still kind of swear by that. Fading as easy as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that, of course, they gave us the you know, the opportunity to create our own classes and respected whatever knowledge you had. But they obviously have 5 notches. I would refer to this as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you ever get a hold to some really old pair masters, they actually have the numbers on there, and that's where I got that concept from. All right. So with it open on open 5, we're gonna get 1 trip down. Then I'm gonna close it all the way to 1, and I'm gonna give 1 trip up. Okay. And that's, I could have went, could have did the same concept on 4, 3, 2, and 1 with this number 2 guard on there, but for the sake of time, because you probably wouldn't see that much of a difference with this 2 guard on there. Again, my goal when I would teach at barber schools or even classes or even now on YouTube is to try to make stuff really simple. There's a lot of complicated things we can do. I've learned to do or discovered like that you can do with clippers, but then there's like the simple things in life, right? So that's my goal, is to take the complicated things. That's like some old, that's actually one of my favorite quotes, old Einstein saying. It goes, it's more than complex to take the simple things in life. or excuse me, it's more than average or common to take the complex things in life and or the simple things in life and make them complex. Like the average person makes stuff way too hard or try to make things complicated to make yourself look better. But it's a genius, this is Einstein speaking, it takes the complex things in life and makes them really simple. So, of course, we just talking fading, but I remember being in the basement and chasing fades up the side of people's head. I remember being in barber school and get a complicated braid of hair, like maybe a thick haired Greek guy, and I messed around and put a line in there first and was forever trying to get it out. I know some of y'all can relate to any of them stories. And really, when I realized that the only thing you're doing is a graduation from longer hair to short hair, and we see that, but once you pick up the clippers, it's almost like a lot easier said than done. So I just start taking my time and using each guard. Don't even use any cut or any shortcuts for starters. And if you need to slow down, that's where those quarters come in. I'm just going to concentrate on the front part of the head to the ear and count down. So I got a number 1 guard on. Did 5, I'm going to go 4. If that left side is too much to fade at one time, just do these areas. 1/4 at a time. There's 3. And essentially every time I lower my level, like if it's 5, I might have been here, I move it to 4, I come a little bit down, 3, 2, 1. In all actuality, that's what we're seeing. You can look at the best fade on Instagram or social media or in town. I used to watch some of the older barbers when I was growing up. I wouldn't necessarily go in their shops, but I would watch their work and I would ask people, who cut your hair? And I know for a fact my fade didn't look as smooth as theirs. I was like, man. Then once I got into the barber shop arena as a licensed barber, I had the pleasure of working next to some of those guys, and my fade was looking like they fade. But I was able to also pick up some of the tricks to the trade, some of the do's and don'ts. And it was amazing to me how many barbers were licensed and they didn't really take the time to blend out their fades. It was almost like a halfway job, and they made money. So that took a lot of pressure off of me. And I guess I quit trying to be as perfect. I guess I come from an arena where it was like, please pick me. Just coming up in the neighborhood and cutting. We were asking people, almost begging people to cut their hair, because I thought I could get as close to the guys that were doing it in the barbershop. So anyway, so I'm counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm on 2, and then there's 1. And that's with a number 1 guard. I'll do the same thing on the back here. And again, this is not necessarily anything advanced. We're going over the basics just to allow us to hone in on them. I like fundamentally sound things, and I try to let that transfer on into cutting hair. There's some things I do that's consistent day in, day out, every single haircut. I got a starting point, stopping point. I usually start the haircut on the left side, work around to the right so that I don't have to think. I just like time to shoot for me, right? Even if you've been in the game for a long while, hopefully we can give you a couple pointers. I know when I was teaching in the barber schools, I would notice that even barbers that cut in the basement was kind of the hood star, hood barber, neighborhood legend, all those different things. They come in and they have a decent fade, but they really lack the understanding of like clipper and comb, for example. Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
How you doing? Yeah. So I'm just coming up on this one. And that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with the clipper.
What you put that on YouTube?
Yeah, we're live. So whatever you say, you're gonna come here.
Almighty.
You already out there. Doing a little YouTube on a Slow Monday. Actually, this is called Blended Mondays. Monday's a good day to do a good signature blend. So you notice now I'm using my clipper and comb. I'm really smoothing my fade out. If you look at some of the old school barbers, I respect them because before there were comb attachments, which is another term for a guard, there were combs. Somebody was brilliant and said, man, if we can attach that comb to the clipper, you know, that'd be great. We won't have to do so much. But what I like to do sometimes is pull that excess hair out. Don't forget I still got my guard on. Do a little clipper and comb, but with the guard on. So that's what I kind of, you want to use that term blended or Blended Monday segment. I kind of blended that into my style, so to speak. I say clipper and comb. I really didn't know my clipper and comb when I got to barber school. And I began to see different ways you can use it, so. Okay, so there's a light fade. I could line that up and sell that if somebody wanted a soft fade. We're going for detail, so I'm gonna go to a zero guard. Same purple guards with Andis, and like riding a bike. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to that first quarter. In this particular fade I'm doing is trying to prevent from putting any lines in there, so then you don't have to worry about getting any lines out. Now, will I always use that approach? No, that's just for this video. There's an easy way, so where if you're struggling, because it can be a tough deal from going from bald all the way up to all that hair, and usually there's a line in here that'll tell me whether or not somebody knows their clipper and comb. So that's what we're kind of selling today. So if you've got that heavy line in there, I'm gonna swing this camera around here. So any of this heavy stuff in here is coming with me, picking it up with the comb, with my guard on there. I still got a zero guard on there from Andis, and a little clipper and comb as we blend them down.
Kind of like fading like you played the last time, minus one design. Kind of take it up. I kind of want like a part up here now. To the hood versus all on the design.
Okay, now it's a no guard. This is where it gets a little challenging, but if you just stay the course, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is all you're doing. If you see a line, it's because you went too high. Because we literally took our time and hit every level with every guard that I own. There was a 3 guard that could have been in there, but we just opened our 2 up, and with a little bit of clipper and comb, that created a 3 for us. So that brings us to, there's a raw clipper. Is that 3? Okay. All right. Well, we just found a 3. Borrowed from a neighbor. That 3 would have basically been in this area. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it on, and if there's anything that we were supposed to catch, you'll see it come off. I believe we got it. If you don't have a particular guard, that's where your clipper and comb is key. Combs will always get where guards won't. Figure that guard's got plastic on it, and it's gonna push the hair. If you look at the blade, it's not cutting until it gets down in here. So it's gonna touch the hair and move the hair out of place. And then cut it. And each one has got more plastic, or excuse me, less plastic as you crawl down from the 4 guard to the 3. The length, I'm talking the distance from the blade that's actually cutting to the end of the plastic comb attachment or guard. Okay, so keep that in mind. So there's that 3. You can kind of hear that crunch. That's that little level, that little ledge we might have missed a little bit. Okay, appreciate that. So that was our 3. All right, so we went 4, 3, 2, 1, and then a 0 guard on the Andis magnetic guard. All right, now any of this stuff up in here is clipper and comb, or of course you can use a freehand. Yeah, I used to say stuff, of course we would have to put our words together. You're teaching like as a platform artist or an educator out there, trade shows, barber competitions. So I would say you want to see a strong variation from dark to light. Basically saying you want to see all your levels in your fade. You know, you want to see from bald all the way on up to whatever their length is going to be at the top. In this particular case, he's going again with that nappy look. So real sweet fades on the side. Take your time and blend it.
Yeah. Kind of box it up. Yeah, shake it up. We're still going with the Westbrook look, but let me show you this part we got. One cat. Who was that? Stevie. Now that's going back to some design.
You talking about Stevie from Love and Haircut?
Yeah.
I seen it the other night.
That part.
Okay, because now I'm going detail, so what I'm going to do rather than fade that whole left side, I don't care if we're talking about LeBron James, and I'm one customer behind. It's a busy Saturday, my cell phone ringing, I ain't 8, and the shop phone won't quit. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to be focused on, you got to be focused on where you're at in that haircut and what's my next step. Per grade of hair, per customer, because everybody's hair grows a little different. So, all right. So I know I'm on 5, and I know for a fact I'm only fading the front section of the left side. That can sound like a lot, but that's how focused you want to be on your work. You don't want to be lost in a haircut guessing. You want to have a roadmap. A good suggestion is even to take your haircut and write it down on a piece of paper in 10 steps or less. How would you do this haircut? Number 1, where would you start at? Number 2, where would you go from there? And then, actually, what I like to say, if it's 10 steps, we used to do this project in barber school, I would write down my first step. First step may say start, and the last step may say end. All right, so you got to fill in the blanks. What that does is help cut out the guesswork. Where are you starting and where are you finishing your haircut? It sounds simple, but believe it or not, it's going to expose you. It's going to let you know where you're jumping around at and where you're guessing at. Now, what I did do is, over time, I'd give a finishing touch phase before the haircut is actually done, which means I just go over the whole haircut and clean up what's left. That's my sneaky way of allowing myself still to jump around. I just jump around at the end. I follow all my steps. But before, I was the guy that's 2 hours on a haircut and I'm jumping all over the place, and the left side don't look like the right side. Both of them look good, but they're a little off. You know what I mean? One might be faded closer than the next, something like that. Now comments, we always accepting whatever comments you guys have out there. And it's nice about live because we can kind of conversate right here. If it's something that you ask and I don't get with you, I look at it immediately after you post it.
But we're live.
I seen it. I seen my little notification pop up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the barbershop though. Lucky ain't selling DVDs.
CD, DVD. All right, so that's where we want to be. I'm gonna go a little closer with that. You'll see a trimmer, but that's just for extra detail and to add an extra couple levels. Had a conversation as far as what cuts the closest, and this master is gonna cut the closest, just because the way their blade is cut down, it's gonna give a more precise, crisp cut. But as far as blends, there's a ton of clippers out there. I'm a fan of the Wall Singers for a smooth blend, but to get your skill set where you need to be, it shouldn't matter what clipper you got. Imagine the barbers back in the day, they didn't even have a clipper with levers. My dad used to cut with a pair of Oasters that didn't adjust, and he would use clipper and comb. So that's where we want to be, kind of the old school mixed with the new school. So there's nothing really you can't do as far as blending with a clipper or even the braid of hair that should stump you because you got your stuff together and understand your tools. So. All right, so after a closed clipper, I'm gonna add a trimmer. That's kind of hot nowadays. You'll see that's trending. Is the ball tapers, you know, or the ball fade. It might sit a little lower, things like that. Something where you can actually see all your levels in there, kind of get that glowing effect. You got your burst fades and all kind of different fades. It doesn't really matter where the fade's sitting at on the head, it's still a fade. That should be the concept. If I was grading it, again, like the barber school atmosphere, if we was at a barber competition, I'm gonna look and say, hey, is it blended or not? I don't care where it's at. I can put a line through the middle of his forehead and blend it, you know? Or you should be able to put a line wherever and still allow that, or be able to work with that line so where your line will disappear to nothing and you don't see any dark spots in your face. Okay, so that's where we want to be. Just gonna do a little bit more around the ear. Some of my favorite fades nowadays are those mohawk type haircuts. And you get to fade, do some fancy tricky stuff around the ear. You fade towards the ear, above the ear, behind it. Fade in a rounded shape. And that's, I guess, the big competition. Follow your Instagrams and all the social media stuff. If we be real, that's what we're doing. We're all competing with each other across the land. I always like to pull up and see some of those guys from the UK and somewhere you never really thought, you know, they were really into detailed haircuts or fades, and you see the tools, they may not be Andis, or in some cases they're definitely not Andis, you know. And they're doing a little more with less, I guess. Okay, so there's my fade on the front part of my left side. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I get a little excited. I'm a geek when it comes to this barber industry. So I'm gonna drop my lineup real quick. I always like the way the lineup sits next to the fade. I think they help kind of show each other off. So just for the sake of the video, since we're going left side, right side. I always think a good sharp lineup helps to show off your fade, and then vice versa, a good fade helps to show off your lineup skills. And I always like the way they work together and help each other out, I guess. Even if you're struggling with like those bald tapers that like to sit in this area, I got a good suggestion that I know helped a lot of barbers when I was teaching the barber schools. Why don't you look at it as a fade in a small area rather than a bald taper? That can be intimidating because you're copying off that picture that somebody showed you when they came in and sat down. And just so happened some fancy barber off of YouTube might be my work, ain't no telling. No, they'll hold it up and say, I want this fade. And it's the guy who cuts like, you know, somebody famous or something like that. And Now you're intimidated and trying to do a ball taper. You've been on it a half an hour and it's only one side. Look at this. This is only 2 clipper lengths long. That's where a ball taper would sit at. So it's basically a fade in a small area. Take your time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It should drop right in place. Okay, for my sideline. Okay, so see how nice that is? Not because I did it, it makes sense, right? Okay. So what I like to do is allow those two to work together, and again, your 4 quarters is key. All right, so let's look at this back area before we do the other side. All right, if we were to make a line, my line may look something like this. I'm gonna make it low because we got all those levels that we spent times working on that help build the top of our taper, or top of our fade. Like I said, the top of our blend, because taper or fade doesn't matter, you're still blending. All right, it's just you're blending closer, that means it's a fade. These a little more hair on there, it'd be soft fade or transition into a taper. All right, so I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Fading is easy as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's 5, right on that line. On quarter number 2, I'm not lost again. I got a roadmap, method to my madness. Common question here is, when you got that 5 on, how high are you going? As if this was an eraser, is how I always teach it. You just want to erase the line. You can use any clipper and comb. Up in here with the clipper still on 5. Open 5. And I'm going to drop down to 4. That's what's handy about always having a comb in your left hand. Yeah, sometimes you'll use a brush just to get the hair to lay down, but when you got that comb in the left hand, it's just not combing the hair. It's actually used as a guard as well. So I'm gonna comb down, comb up, catch the edges as I hit my 3 level. So I'm gonna hit 3 level if I see, or level 3, if I see any lines beginning to form. I don't want to create a line. Every time you drop the clipper level down, it's a bigger risk that you may create a line. So that's what my comb's gonna be in the way for. I'm just gonna place it there, catch the edges. See where we're at? I joke around and say I'm not cutting the hair, the clipper is. You just guide it. So if you throw the right combo, you get some pretty cool effects per haircut. And again, I'm still a student of the craft. Of course, I'm a master barber instructor, and all those things on paper, but technically, I'm just a kid from the neighborhood. I might make a t-shirt like that or something. Like LeBron, just say I'm just a kid from Akron. Kid from the neighborhood that's willing to, or trying to compete with some of the best barbers across the city, or nowadays America or the world, because you got the social media factor. You got it? So here's 2. Same difference there. And for all the barber geeks out there, the lab rats who love just basic stuff, I love the way a clipper sounds as it's blending the hair, especially at Andy's Master. Trying to hear the hair crunch.
I like the sound of this.
Yeah, when it crunch, ain't it something? The sound and even the feel of it, and right before your eyes, it's just blending away. It's a beautiful thing. And what's cool too is, take pride in your work. I'm not saying get prideful, of course stay humble and everything. But you know, put your stamp on it. I learned that. That's one thing I learned early in the basement is every single haircut is signature. You know, there's people who would actually, my name's Adrian Color, or people say Coach Color on the YouTube, but nickname's AD. So that feels good over the years and say, hey, ain't nothing like an AD cut. But I actually would think that way, trying to put my signature on when they ask who cut your hair. I want them to say my name, and I want to be proud of what I actually put out there. You don't want to put no garbage out there. And who cut your hair? Or they ask it different. Man, who cut your hair? You know, same question, but kind of different little spin on it, you know. So I still kind of think about that, and it's part of the reason why I really don't go for speed. Can I do a couple fast haircuts? Sure, but at what cost? You go too fast, go for the money, and people say who cut your hair, and you miss the lineup or something ain't faded in. You don't want that to follow your name. So, all right, so there's the fade we're going with there. And we're gonna, if you got any questions, you can ask them now. We're gonna actually do the same thing, other side. I'm gonna do less talking, just dig on there. Got it? So from the back, you can kind of see that before and after. So we count down for the subscribers out there. Talk to us, let us know what y'all been dealing with, conquering, what you've been mastering, what you've been struggling with, and we can start having some conversation. Last I checked, we were about 13,000 subscribers. If you're watching the video today, you're amongst 13,000 that at least got it in their inbox or notification that we're live. So I appreciate you guys. If there was no you, wouldn't be no me. The social media thing. We were one of the first barbers on YouTube and didn't even know what it was about or where it was going to go. So definitely appreciate you guys for giving us that sense of purpose and asking questions. The more we answer questions, we just grew from there. And I apologize to the ones who asked questions and never gave you the answer yet. Ask it again and let's see if we can go back and revisit it. Okay, so there's my 4. Here's your 3. Now, some of these bigger guards, you can take your time and hit every level, which I do suggest. Some of it you'll realize that in time you may not need that step. Again, this is just a guaranteed way of getting there. Here's a 3. Here's a 2, same old thing. Watch out for my boys if you hadn't seen any of the videos with my sons. I've been teaching them a little bit more and more each year. So over the last year or so, a couple of videos floating out there. More on Facebook, you've probably seen a couple where I introduced them on YouTube, but they're learning this stuff and I'm teaching them the same way. If they can learn it, you can learn it. My oldest is just 16 and he's got a decent lineup on him and a relatively decent fade taper. So that means it does work. just step by step, and you'll get better. I doubt you'll get any worse on fades if you take this approach. Okay, so there's my 2 coming up. And just like riding a bike, we're going for our number 1. And I'll leave us one last star, which will be our 0. Again, so we're not lost. Quarter number 3 back in the head. You're gonna cut the most hair during this haircut from ear to ear. Your first quarter, your last quarter, it's the smallest sections. Back quarter is about 2. 3 clipper lengths long. Front quarter is about 1.5 to 2 lengths. Another suggestion is if you're doing tapers, a lot of times those haircuts, faux hawk, mohawks, are requiring high tapers or bald tapers in the back. That can be challenging. Again, it's going to take a look at your clipper and comb skill level, and you're going to find out whether you know your clipper and comb or not. Once you get in those areas. So what I suggest is just shift your perspective. You're doing the same haircut, but imagine that it's a fade in that back section. It's funny because you'll see some barbers can do a really good bald fade all the way around the head. Someone come ask for a bald taper, and they just panic. They got a hard line in there. It's real tough to get the line out. They may fade the bottom line out, but there's a whole bunch of weight at the top. Just look at it like you're fading, but in smaller sections. Okay, there's 5, 4, 3. Here's 2. And then I'm referring to the levels on the side of the Andis Maxim. All again, pretty much. Okay, last quarter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can kind of see a little bit of a weight line here. I don't want to get drawn into that and let it slow me down again. The goal is not to get stuck in a haircut. You want to keep moving, do what you need to do, and don't forget you come back and finish that up with some clip and comb. That's an area back in the day where I've been stuck right there for 20 minutes. It occasionally happens nowadays, like if you get a complicated gray hair, some calyx or something like that. If you build a base, just moving along each quarter, you can always do finishing touches later. Another thing I do, like say once you get down to the zero guards, the further you travel up the hair, of course the bigger risk you're gonna have to make a line that you didn't intend to put there, and you start chasing a fade up. So what I'll do is go from holding the clipper flat to sideways. There's a textbook term for any of you textbook junkies out there. It's called slithering, or just bending the hair out. You slide it. You hold it on the side and you slide in between the hairs. It'll break up some of the bulk.
Alright, so you know what's going on, y'all. Okay, that's fine. Just call me, let me know what you're trying to get right here.
Okay, now we're on our last quarter. Appreciate it. All right. Appreciate it. Okay, so now I got my zero guard on. Again, one of my favorite moves is just along that top part of the blend. You can go clipper and comb, but with a guard on, which is going to soften it up and prevent you from taking off too much. See, we got Royal Fades. Appreciate your shout out. I don't have a clue who that is from Colombia. If you can go English, I appreciate it. It's motivation for me. Where you been, bro? Missing your vids from the UK. Appreciate it. Hey, bro, cut my hair free. My dad don't give me money to cut hair. He's a beast. Who's that? I'm not sure who that is. I appreciate the love, especially the UK, Colombia. That's motivation. How can we help you? Whoever's from the Colombia or from Colombia, if you could try to see if there's I think there's an app out there that brings it to English, because I wouldn't begin to be able to understand what question you asked. You know. Appreciate the love, though. Okay, see how nice that is? Real nice and soft on the top, rather than going in there with no guard on there, clipper and comb, and taking off too much hair. Or a lot of time, what I used to do when I was first learning my clipper and comb, I would be so eager, or really so nervous, to be honest, trying to figure out this clipper and comb situation. My clipper would slide over the top of it sometime. Now you zapped him, and now you're trying to talk him into a different haircut and all that stuff. My suggestion, if your clipper and comb game is just being developed, you're still a little nervous, keep that guard on there. You can keep a one guard on. Technically, you can keep whatever guard you want, and that just adds another layer of protection. My favorite one is to use a one guard or a zero guard if I really need to get in there and I just want to go in there and not have any worries or no pressure. Person might sneeze. People do weird stuff nowadays. Start laughing, jerk their head, and before you know it, you zap them, you know. Okay. So that's that, and now let's add some detail to the bottom of it. That clipper is hot if you're a beginner barber out there. Of course, you got your Cool Care stainless steel clipper, so the whole clipper starts to get hot, not just the blade. You can hit the whole clipper. The Andis Cool Care, same company. You hear me say Andis a lot. I'm an Andis fan from years ago. and a former educator, if you're just chiming in, under the great Ivan Zoot. Actually, he goes by Clipper Guy nowadays. No longer with Andy's Clipper Company, but I always shout him out because he gave me my first big break with those guys, and I really appreciate it. So anyway, so Cool Care, that's probably a little more comfortable for the client, and then my hands ain't burning when I'm fading. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and of course, with no guard, just like we did on the other side. So I got a quick question. What do you guys like to fade with? If it ain't Andis Masters, well, I'll say it like this. 2-part question. First part, what's your opinion on the Andis Master that's been around forever in doing these trending haircuts? And do you prefer Andis Master? If not, what's your favorite blending clipper? I want to hear your feedback.
And this envy.
Andis Envy? Yeah.
Probably
That's
getting
good.
hard when I suggest that.
Yeah.
Still cooking, maybe.
Okay, I hear you there. Let's see where your shop at, bro. I mean, actually, we're in Canton, Ohio. I appreciate you asking that question. About an hour south of Cleveland is where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is, and me. That's the only 2 things in this town. No, but yeah, we're an hour south of Cleveland, about a half an hour from LeBron James. That's a good landmark. And appreciate you. Shout out from Cali. Where you? What city in California? And where are you cutting hair? You a student? What's going on? Said always trying to learn new techniques. What you struggling with now, or even if it ain't struggling, what you trying to master now? And I can throw a couple pointers out there. If there's something pertaining to this haircut, now we can point it out, or we can do something different to kind of get you what you need. I'm not sure what you were asking there. You said you're always trying to add new techniques. Are you struggling with something, or just looking to up your game, or what? See, like while I'm doing this haircut, I see like a million other haircuts in here. He's got good grade of hair. Of course, this is the nephew. Thicker grade of hair, so where it goes from dark to light. Of course, I want to shoot a star through there or some type of design. You can't always do that. But even when you just talk fades, I like them fades when you drop a V here and fade it a little harder, a little higher, maybe on the sides. You know, you got options. One of my favorite things to do, but it's tedious. I mean, it's exhausting. It's a lot of work, but I do like the challenge deep down inside is when people at the end of the haircut say, can you fade me a little higher? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to do the work, but I like the challenge. You know, so that's 2 haircuts for 1 price is what I'm saying. I don't want to do that, but I do like the challenge because I come from an arena where I would fix people's haircuts sometime from a barber shop, and I took pride in that because the fact that they actually look to me, and even to this day, sometimes you say, hey, I've been going to such and such shop, and they push my line up back or this or that. That's a chance for me to show off in a fair and humble way to say, all right, I got you. sometime I'll recruit or advertise and go try to get customers and look at bad hair. Go find the bad haircuts in your town. And I know it's one kid, actually it's a father and two sons that come in here to this day. I didn't even know those was his kids. I seen the kids out with the mom, and the fade was so terrible, as far as from my opinion, without disrespecting whoever did the haircut. It was an opportunity for me. So I handed him a card and I said, I don't know where you go, but I can fix that. That flew out my mouth. I didn't mean to say it that way, but that's what I was thinking. You probably could have dressed it up with words. I just shot it straight and was like, I know what y'all was going for. I know what you asked for. And I know for a fact that ain't it, you know? But what it was a challenging grade of hair. Mixed kids, biracial, white mother, black father. And I know the struggle because I made those mistakes in the basement. So I was really saying, hey, I conquered that before. Come to me and, you know, I can blend the rest of it in for you. They're still customers to this day. So if you take your time, especially if you're only dealing with one type of clientele, like cutting primary black dudes, primary white dudes, everything like that, or curly hair, straight hair, however you want to dress it up. Challenge yourself to learn some new techniques, or you know, recruit some other customers. Like most of my customers now are either black, you know, African American curly hair, or mixed. I may have a handful of white guys or straight hair, but you know, that's the beautiful thing about this industry. You can get yourself a raise by just going and get another type of clientele and take on that challenge. So you can make all the money. You're stuck in the middle of Oklahoma somewhere. You can fade yourself to the next plane ticket, you know, and it won't be no issue. I would refer to that a lot of times as cross training. I love teaching that, like teaching a white guy, for example, how to fade black hair better, or a black dude, for example, how to do fades on white guys better, you know. And we all been there when that person comes in the shop and they say, "You cut my hair," and everybody get quiet, you know. If you can answer with a confident yes, or here's a card or whatever, makes you feel good in the inside, number one, and you actually just step into a whole nother market for yourself. Oftentimes, I tell a story a lot when I was working in Atlanta, Georgia. I was confident in my skill set, and he was down there with a ton of competition, working at this shop called First Class Barbershop, and I was kind of sitting around for the first 6 months, a little frustrated, couldn't get my clientele the way I wanted it, everything there, and I'm the new guy. We all been there. So what I did is I started studying what was not being done in the shop versus what was being done, and so I can kind of find my lane. And my end, as far as the opportunity to show off my skills, was with Mexican, a lot of Mexicans in that area. They didn't talk English. I like to think I was a lot more patient with them than what some of the other barbers were. And the biggest thing was they didn't know how to cut straight hair. Most of them did. I said, oh, now I get it. So who do you think they came to when they came to the shop? As the reputation built, I went down to Pro Black Atlanta and really to teach how to cut straight hair. And I didn't really understand that was like a little bit of a problem down there. But then looking back, it kind of makes sense because the majority of the clientele was black, you know. But the Mexicans appreciated it, so they went home and told all their brothers, cousins, and I was their guy, you know. And it's funny, but the black dudes down there started trusting me a little more when they see how well I would blend straight hair. Like if he can cut their hair like that, he must be able to cut mine. So then they started giving me a chance. So you never know how things work out now. All right, so this phase is done. I'm just picking at it, getting dark spots out. Again, I appreciate you guys. Any other questions you got, feel free. Load me up. It's springtime. I'm ready to get some things rocking and rolling. Celebrate the great game. By all means, blend something today. If you ain't open up. We're one of the only shops open on Mondays. I understand them Saturdays hurt, especially after a busy Thursday or Friday. Get your legs moving and blend on into a Monday. like that when I was in college. We have games on Saturdays and Sunday. We would have to come in and get all the kinks out. Cause Saturday hurt. You still stiff from Saturday, and they would make us come in and run and lift weights to kind of maintain that, get that soreness off your muscles. That's how I kind of look at Mondays. Sometimes I'll be moping around. Once I get rolling, I'm kind of excited about it. You're in Orange County, cutting in the city of the Orange, working at 50 Barbershop. Is that right? Just always trying. What is that?
50-50.
Oh, 50-50. Okay, got you. 50-50 Barbershop. Just always trying to up my game. Cool. Respects to you, bro. Appreciate the shout out. You still didn't tell me what you need. No. But if there's anything we can help, I appreciate you looking us up. There's 1,000,001 people on YouTube. I say that with kind of bragging rights. Say, hey, we was one of the first videos, but right now we're one of many. This is the era we're in, that tech era. But hey, appreciate you looking us up from Orange County. That's motivation to me. Could be watching somebody else, you know. So, and I ask one more thing. As far as upping your game, what's the next thing you're looking to learn? Let's say that. That's what we want from you guys out there in the YouTube world that help us deliver. Because some of the stuff I've been doing for years, and I'll skip over. Part in there. Part. Right here.
No, he always.
Line yourself up in the front.
It's still good with one.
It's all right.
Yeah.
What trim we got?
That's some little shavers. I can't remember what the name of the brand is. So that was a top brand.
Andis? Gray?
Wall. Let's say Wilco. Just look at your butt.
Walmart.
Oh, so you cut right there. It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's some one blood.
No, so you don't have to really cut that down.
Just one lip line right here.
Yeah.
Nothing on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably shoot a couple more YouTubes, but I want to put this stuff on like a different video. Like some of the stuff we're doing is visual downloads and stuff. Like a model or something. Do different haircuts with it, you know what I'm saying? So, use some raw family photos like YouTube, You know, while you ever see Wani, the Juan son?
I'm friends with him on Facebook. That's what I've seen him.
Yeah, the dog. Is he what, 22 now?
Probably 24.
24? 24, right? I ain't doing that. I think Juan is 24 or 5.
Yeah, he's about the same age.
How old is he?
Nico's 25, 26, something like that.
So there we go. That's the end product there. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. YouTube world. Color Barbershop. Coach Color. In the building. This blended Monday. We'll hit it with a sponge on the top. Any last minute questions? This will be loaded up even after it's done going live. It'll be loaded up and you can continue to ask questions. We need to get our hits up. Get the motivation going on. It's a spring and hit. So let us know. Actually, I'm going to invite the haters too. You got to do that. Those are hits too. We love you guys, you know. Hate, pick stuff apart. It's all good. Some of it might be true. I might need it. Get the motivation going on.
Sound like you been hanging in the air.
In a minute.
Constantly.